Thank you, dear friends. I am Tutor Cletus Okoli. In today's class, we are continuing with the Surds, and that should be Surds Lesson 3. We have done Surds Lesson 1, where we did the introduction of Surds, and we took it up to addition and subtraction of Surds. In Surds Lesson 2, we went into multiplication and division of surds, and we gave examples. Today, what we have is multiplying surds with their conjugate. We want to see what happens when we multiply a surd with its conjugate. Let us begin. We have a question on the board. And by conjugate, what we mean, if we are given surd n minus surd n, the conjugate of surd n minus surd n is equal to surd n plus surd n. What it means is simply changing the sign in between the two surds. Alright? If it is minus, we change it to plus. And when plus is given, we change it to minus. That is how we can conjugate a surd. Now, when we want to multiply a surd by its conjugate, look at the surd that we are given in the first bracket. 4 root 3 minus 7 root 2. That is the surd. So we want to multiply it by its conjugate, which means changing the sign minus to become plus. So we still have 4 root 3 plus 7 root 2. We are multiplying this surd by its conjugate. We want to see when this happens, what will be the result, so that we can continue using it each time we see it without having to go the rigorous way of opening the brackets. We dive in. Opening the brackets in multiplication, we have 4 times 4, that is, I'm doing 4 root 3 times 4 root 3 will give us 16 times 3, because 4 times 4 is 16 and root 3 times root 3 will give me 3. Again, 4 root 3 times 7 root 2 will give me plus 4 times 7 will give me 28, then root 6. How? 4 times 7 is 28. Root 3 times root 2 will give me root 6. Minus 7 root 2 times 4 root 3 will give us minus 28. Then root 6. How? Because minus times plus, of course, is minus. And 7 times 4 will give me 28. Root 2 times root 3 will give me root 6. Finally, I have minus times plus will give me minus. And then 7 times 7, that is root 7. 7 root 2 times 7 root 2 will give me 49 multiplied by 2. Okay, taking it one after the other. 7 times 7 is 49. And root 2 times root 2 will give me 2. Beautiful. So what I have now is 16 times 3 will give me 48. Then you can see 28 root 6 minus 28 root 6. So 2 of them will cancel out, giving me minus 49 times 2. That is going to be minus 98. Finally, my answer becomes minus 50. Answer. There is an observation here I want us to see very well. That observation is, when I multiply this surd by its conjugate, you can notice with me that the 2 and the middle cancelled out, leaving me with the squares of the surds. In other words, leaving me with the difference of the squares. Alright? What it means is that if I square this, I will get 48, and when I square this, I'll get 98, and the difference of the two will give me negative 50. We can simply say here that when a sword is multiplied by its conjugate, then the result we get is simply the difference of the squares. Before I go into this second example, what this thing is summarizing for us is that if you are given root n plus root m as a sword, and you are asked to multiply it by its conjugate, root n minus root n, that the result from this worked example should be square root of n. So when I square the square root of n, I will get n. And when I square the square root of n, I will get n. So the difference of the two results will be the answer. That is what this multiplication is telling us. Let us open it. Root n times root n will give me n. Root n times minus root n will give me minus root n. Root n times root n will give me plus root n. Plus times minus is minus. Root n times root n will give me n. Minus root mn plus root mn. The two will cancel, giving me n minus n. So we are saying, let us observe in Surds that the multiplication of a sword by its conjugate will just give us the result as difference of the squares. The square of the first minus the square of the second. We can now say here that instead of opening the brackets, we simply square the first, since we have multiplied this sword by its conjugate. And when we see this type of problem, our result is almost there with us. We simply square the first sword, which is 2 over root 3. When I square it, I'll get 4 over 3. That is 2 over root 3 all squared. 2 squared is equal to 4. And root 3 squared will give me root 3. Alright? Minus the square of 1 all over root 2, which is still going to give me 1 all over 2. That is the result. I find a difference in the squares instead of multiplying it out. And my result will now be LCM is 6. 3 here will give me 2, multiplied by this is 8. 2 here will give me 3, multiplied by this is that. So my answer is 5 all over 6. If I open these brackets and begin to work out this sword like I did here, at the end of the day, my result will be here. Alright? Will be 5 over 6. So, in multiplication of swords, the multiplication of a sword by its conjugate will result to the difference of the squares. Thank you for listening. Remember, I am Tutor Cletus Okoli. Support my channel by just subscribing if you have not done so, and share my videos. God bless you.
Na mbụ, agwara m mmadụ sị